roll?
Let's do it.
Okay, episode 6 of the Blake Chancey Podcast. We've got Barry Hartman back on for the second time in a week. Had some technical issues with the first one, but we've sorted that out. He is the co-founder of 505 Junk. He's on a new venture right now with Bolt Accelerator, our coaching program, helping out other entrepreneurs in the space. Stoked to have you back on. Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive into 505 Junk. Let's hear the origin story. Let's go right back to how you all started. Last time I mentioned, I remember a photo of you and your first pickup truck, just getting ready, getting dirty, getting into the business and getting everything going with 505.
Yeah. So we started it officially July 2011. And it was interesting because, I've always had this kind of strange sort of career in like my resume does not look good. It was like McDonald's and then dishwasher at White Spot in high school. And then moved to Whistler to be a professional snowboarder for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Night janitor in the evening. And so by the time I was had gone through that snowboarding stint, I remember moving back home to study marketing to kind of figure out like what phase 2 was going to look like. I was maybe 22 years old.
Yeah.
And it felt like every textbook, there was conversations about 1-800-GOT-JUNK and Brian Scudamore and this massive junk removal company. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, to make some sort of side income, a friend of mine, his older brother, actually our content manager, Connor, he had this side gig doing junk removal just in our home market on the weekends. Yeah. And he would, pull in $700-800 in a day and give me a couple $100 at the end of the day. And I remember thinking at the time, like that $200 for 3 or 4 hours of work, I was like, this must be a mistake. Like,
dude, that's literally wild to think of. Like, even when I was at the glass shop back in the day, making $25 an hour, I thought I was making great money at the time.
Yeah.
So for you to, work half a day and get a few $100, you're making $50 an hour plus.
Yeah. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really counting the hours. He was just like, I appreciate you coming out. Here's a bit of what I made.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, if I could do that in a few hours, and this is just like some side gig that he's barely doing, like not even advertising or anything. I think this is 2011. Like he had like a Yellow Pages ad or something.
Yeah,
and that was enough to like get enough traffic or movement or lead flow, like to keep him busy every weekend. And I remember thinking like, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going all in on this business.
That's it. Let's do this.
And so we kind of like, I started researching the competition, researching 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I remember asking Casey at the time, like, do you want to go in on this together?
Yeah.
He had other plans for another business he was launching.
So that was Connor's bro, Casey.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we had played soccer together, so I knew him fairly well. But eventually, I met Scott at Kwantlen, my co-founder,
mm-hmm.
and he was helping me write out the business plan. And I remember thinking like, I don't have any money. We need 2 people to do this job anyway. Scott and I had built like a good friendship at the time.
Yeah. And
we just decided to go at it together.
So did you actually kind of come up with the idea while you were at Kwantlen? Did you tie it into any of your courses like business management or anything where you had to like come up with a business model and kind of go from there?
We did like a little bit of study, but honestly, a lot of the work was, I can't remember. We did a class project. I think we did like the launch of like a Victoria's Secret of all things in Vancouver, because we had to pick like an American company and we had like a fake $250,000 marketing budget.
Yeah.
And we had to pick an American company to market to come to Vancouver.
Gotcha.
And so we did that project instead. Like, I don't think they lined up.
Yeah.
But I will say going through the creation of like those marketing plans and all that definitely allowed me to just like replicate that process and do 505 Junk on the side.
Yeah.
And that ended up working really well because that helped us get some like early stage bank financing.
Okay.
They could see that we weren't just like going to the bank and being like, hey, I want to start a junk removal company.
Yeah, we've got a random idea. Can you loan me $50K, $100K, whatever you need?
Yeah. And so that worked well. And then we also worked with a nonprofit organization called Futurepreneur, and they do like, I think low interest, like 2% financing for the first $25,000 on business loans for like young entrepreneurs under 30 years old or something like that. We need
programs like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So they gave us money when like literally every bank would not want to touch us with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. What do you have? What's your equity in the rest of your life? Oh, I got $12 in my wallet right
Yeah,
now.
like literally, I think we
Please
started
help.
I think we had $1,000 or something like that.
Mhm.
And yeah, Futurepreneur, they put us through the ringer. Like you need a budget, you need a business plan, you need a marketing plan. Like, but if you check all the boxes and you pass like the character test, if you will, and
Yeah.
you don't have any sort of weird history, then chances are you'll get it. And sure enough, that's where we got our founding capital and launched the business. And
Is that still a program available today for people?
yeah. They still do it today.
Yeah.
They were a huge part of our first like 3 to 4 years as well. Like we went down to Istanbul with them to go to the G20 summit. And
Wow.
they just like, they really wanted to help put like youth entrepreneurship in Canada on the map as like sort of a global sort of like spotlight.
Yeah.
And so they were really good about not just like the financing side, but like connecting us with like mentors and, you know, other entrepreneurs in our space. And yeah, so they're a pretty big part of like our early days.
I had no idea. Like that's literally blowing my mind right now. I had no idea that was an option for people, because getting financing, you do need some capital to get started in any business, especially when you need equipment, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it's if you're in excavating, lawn maintenance, anything like that, there's going to be some expenditure right at the get-go, and it's going to take you a bit of while to get that money back and pay off those bills before you see any real profit.
Yeah, and the banks don't look at it, because if you look at what Futurepreneur does with it, it's just like youth entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means inexperienced and high risk. Like that's basically what those two words mean.
Yeah,
Youth
literally.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And so you go to the bank and they're just like, sorry, I just have zero interest in this.
Yeah, and to offer a really competitive loan at just like a couple percent, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they delay the payments for the principal payments for the first 12 months as well. So we were literally paying like $70 in interest a month, but we had access to the capital to start.
That's wild. I wonder why they're doing that. Like is it somebody that's super successful that's running that's kind of like the founder of it? That can kind of afford that and he was probably an entrepreneur, or she was probably an entrepreneur when they were young and didn't have any options. So it probably came out of a need that they found in the market.
Yeah, I'm not, to be honest, it's a good question. I don't know like the founding origin of it. But I do know they do have like government backing now, which is good. And then as a nonprofit, like they are, you know, bringing in interest rates and whatnot, but then they also do a lot of events and sponsorship. So yeah, they're sort of like doing their own way of fundraising for the not-for-profit. And I think the interest maybe like escalates after a couple of years or something like that. But
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great organization. I mean, I remember thinking like these guys are going to be like baked into our founding story, and like sure enough, 14 years later, like you know, we're still
That's wicked.
in conversation with them and all that.
So you started with one truck, and did you have another helper that was diving into it with you? Scott, you and him just went kind of full time at it. What was the process like from idea to then getting it on the ground and getting it going?
Yeah, so we went pretty all in, like quite quickly. And so Scott was an expert in Google Ads, which really helped. He did it in his old role.
Yeah.
And then also he won some competition in college that was like top 1% of like ROI on ads for like some you know made up like kind of fiction. It was like the money wasn't real, but like the at the time Google had this thing where they'll give you like credit for Google Ads.
Yeah.
You're not actually spending it, but you're using it to actually like generate leads for campaigns and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll give you like $600 to start an ad campaign, see how it goes, and then their hope is that you continue on with that ad platform in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got that, and then they also had the educational side of it where you can just like use the platform to test it with like sort of fake credit to like see how you can get your cost per lead down and all that.
Interesting.
And so Scott, that was a huge part of it. Like advertising, we had like essentially no brand presence whatsoever.
No.
Well competing with like the largest junk removal company in the world in our backyard.
In the world, not just around Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, in the world.
Yeah. And like they had been around since 1989 because that's where, of course, Got Junk was founded in Vancouver. And so we were, you know, it wasn't the easiest industry to start from a competitive standpoint. And also like still to this day, it's a very oversaturated market because you literally like us, anyone can start a junk company. Yeah. You just need a truck and a driver's license and insurance.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is fairly low for that. And same with like a landscape or a paint or anything like that. You can get in, but then you need to really work your ass off and show that you're a good person and you work hard, you show up on time, and then build that customer service and trust. And then I'm sure a lot of your business now is just based solely on referrals.
It is. Yeah. We get a ton of referrals. I would say it's like a probably top 5 lead source for us.
Nice.
So yeah, so we kind of got started with like Google Ads. Like back then, Groupon was a big thing. So we were doing those like Groupon deals. Like we were getting that. I remember in month 3, we did a Groupon deal.
Yeah.
We must have had like 50 phone calls that day.
Oh,
because we did like the first, I don't know, 200 pounds for $30 or something.
Yeah.
And then knowing that most people will have more than that, but then also like only 70% of people actually use the coupon. So there's all these like numbers we were running for our like Groupon strategy at the time where it actually did make sense in the end. It was a good way to build like our client base and like have that repeat and referral clientele moving forward. But yeah, that alongside with social media, those were like our big 3 sort of like, you know, brand awareness lead generators from like day 1 to kind of get the trucks moving pretty much full time.
Nice.
And then to your other question, our first sort of full-time employee, Alex Elsey.
Oh, right. Yeah. First employee was Alex Elsey. That's so
Alex
cool.
Elsey. And so he's a partner in the company and our VP of sales and operations today. He's been with us for over 14 years now. And yeah, I'll never forget like him. I was also playing soccer with Alex. I feel like we employed half our soccer team at the time because we were all in our early 20s. And
that's kind of how it goes.
Same as me. People just wanted to go haul junk. It's like, you know, it's a good way to get exercise and get paid some money. But I remember at the time sitting down with Alex and being like, you know, I think we can only offer you like $12 an hour full time, which was above minimum wage at the time. But he just said, like, I remember we were sitting at Brown's in Tsawwassen at a restaurant and he was like, you know what? I'm not worried about the money today. Like I see the vision of the company.
Yeah.
I'm happy to like kind of get in at an earlier stage and go full time. And yeah, he's been a massive part of our growth over the years.
Because his dad's a realtor, and I know way back in the day when I ran into him, we played volleyball a little bit together. You know, I was in Ladner, he was in Tsawwassen. We faced each other in high school, but we actually got the opportunity to play on a club team out of White Rock for a year, I think. And I didn't know much about him. Turns out his dad's a realtor, and he's just such a beauty. He's such a great guy, one of my favorite realtors of all time. And so I thought Alex would always go that route too, but then he got involved with you guys kind of the same time that I got my license, and he's stuck with you guys, and he's such a great partner to have with you because you can see he's still excited about it. Like I love the social media you have where Alex is involved, and we've chatted a few times about a few different programs that we could be offering to my clients in the real estate industry. And yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's a very like dedicated, loyal, just person in general, like partner, employee, whatever you want to call it. Sure. But just like generally speaking, like if you're working with Alex or like working alongside him or in a business partnership, like he's like an all-in personality type.
Yeah.
And so it's like we have the responsibility to make sure that like we're never capping his growth potential because he's going to give us all. And so honestly, from not just Alex, but like from a purpose to grow, not necessarily a deep purpose in business, but like literally just a purpose to grow is we've just made so many promises to, you know, there's almost 50 people at the company now.
Wow.
And if we slow down now, then somebody, you know, along the way is going to be negatively impacted by that. And if we hire all these people on the condition that there's limitless growth at 505 Junk, then eventually they're going to leave because that's not what they signed up for.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's so important with that first hire. Like that really sets the baseline and the standard moving forward. So to just be able to say like our first hire is still with us from start to where you guys are at now, like exploding the business. How many trucks do you guys have on the road now?
We've got 12 trucks, and they're moving. We just had one of our biggest months of all time in November.
Nice,
and like
congrats,
they were,
man.
Yeah, it was great. Like even the end of the month, we had, I think, 7 trucks out between like 6 p.m. and 3 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of our work is commercial now.
Yeah.
And so some of these commercial sites, like we need to wait until like, you know, it was a big, I think it was either a bank. No, we've got a bank project going on. It was at a commercial office interior renovation.
Oh.
And in these downtown Vancouver buildings, or really any city, like sometimes you can't get in until the building's closed.
Yeah.
And so the demolition company's in there, you know, 6 p.m. onwards, and we're just in there like live loading material out like truck after truck after truck. So
dude, the coordinating for anything in a commercial space is tough. I can kind of relate that to, you know, people moving in and out of stratas. It's always a juggling act. You got to call the strata. You got to book the elevator. If there's only one elevator in the building, then you're locking it off and disrupting everybody else's day. So it makes sense that you guys are only allowed in there after hours.
Yeah. You're speaking our ops manager's language. Like it's all about like elevators, like the building managers, like that's a huge part of it. But it's also a competitive advantage because if you get a reputation for being able to pull off jobs that size in weird hours with like weird building regulations, then that's almost like a niche in itself.
Yeah.
And so we've found like there's just these construction companies and building managers and, you know, real estate agents like yourself, like that's quickly become about 75% of our revenue.
Wow.
And so, you know, it's not to say that the residential side isn't important. Yeah. It's just that the commercial side has so much more scale.
Yeah, for sure. Of course. It's not a single job for $400, $300, right? Like you're talking about contracts for thousands of dollars and a lot of work, a lot of manpower and hours.
Yeah, that's it. And like a residential client, like, you know, I mean, I hire 505 junk quite a bit because I've gone through renovations and moving and all that. But the average client will book us about 1.5 times a year. Okay. So out of 2 people, like one person's going to book a second time in the same year, whereas a commercial client can have 10 active construction sites at any given time, or a property manager can have, you know, 20 buildings in their portfolio that need the service on a bi-weekly basis. And so as far as like where we invest time and energy into bringing in new clients, like you got to balance both.
And maybe the residential side is a nice filler, right? Like I'm a huge fan of your company. I always have been. I've used you guys countless times in all my moves in the last decade, and any recommendation is you guys are top of the list every single time from my clients as well. A little bit off topic of where we are, but like the customer service that you guys offer is just something else. Like I had a brand new employee of yours show up to my house when I was moving back in March, and he comes up to me, he says my name, he says, "Very nice to meet you," shakes my hand, introduces himself. And like the other guy that you could see was the driver and has been with the business for a bit. Like he kind of gave the nod to the newbie. He's like, "Yeah, that's what you do, man. Good job. Good customer service." And like anytime I was back into the garage, like they were asking me, confirming items that they wanted removed again. And just, the overall experience with you guys, just like 5-star service, time in and time out every time.
I appreciate that. I love seeing your name on the schedule. Like whether it's for you or you're booking on behalf of a client, it's like, anytime you see someone that you know that's sort of like I don't know, it just makes me happy.
It feels
like,
good.
I think of it like if you sold a product, like let's say you sold, I don't know, like you're like a candy manufacturer or something, and you see your product in the store. Yeah. Like to me, that would be the best feeling. Yeah. And it's like, it's the same when you either see like friends and family or people that are close to you that you trust in the schedule, or just seeing the trucks on the road. Like my mom still texts me every time she sees a truck. Like I'll get like 3 texts in a day. Like, "I saw your truck." I'm like, "That's awesome. Keep it coming." 14 years later.
Yeah. I used to always videotape whenever I saw your trucks, and then we couldn't grab our phones anymore in the vehicle. So that's been less and less now. Cause like I'm always out on the road. Like I used to do a lot of business out in Vancouver, Richmond as well. And I would see you guys like all the time. And I still see you locally here as well, of course.
Yeah. But it's the same thing. Like when I see your signs up, like in front of a home, it's like, you feel good. I love seeing my friends' businesses like thriving, and like thriving to me means like it's you can openly see it in the market, whether it's like a real estate sign in front of a house or trucks on the road, or, you know, someone else selling like whatever, like protein bars or something, and you just see it in the store. It's like, that's just like the entrepreneurial dream, I feel like, is just like the product or service in action.
Yeah, and I never really thought about it when I was getting into real estate, but like when I get the opportunities to help out a past client, it feels so good because it lets me know that I did a good enough job for them in the past, where they're not even interviewing new agents. They're just like, "We had a good experience with Blake. Let's get him into our house again." And that's just like such a great feeling. And I never thought about that before, and I love it.
I mean, what you're doing is such a big part of, like, we can leave junk removal. You can have like an experiential impact. If someone's like, "Oh, okay, we'll hire a junk removal company," they probably have 0 expectations because it's junk removal and it doesn't have the best reputation, similar to like moving. But if you can just provide a good experience, like we can leave a really good dent in like their story.
Yeah.
Real estate though, you're selling like $500 to like $3 million homes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I still remember, like, this was before your time, but like when my parents first sold our house when I was like 5, they just kept saying the realtor's name. And I just never, I can't remember who it was, Tom Robb or something. I don't even know if he's around doing it now, but it was just such a big part of it because like, I remember being a kid and remembering this name thinking like, oh, this guy sold our home and got us into a new one. Like he must be a big deal.
It is. It's a huge decision. It's one of the largest financial decisions that anybody will ever make in their life. So any opportunity that I get, it feels very special for sure. Yeah. And I think you guys do a really good job. You know, hiring a junk removal company is not sexy. It's a bill you probably don't want to even pay, right? Like hiring a plumber for a leak or an electrician for some issue in your house. But I was on a call last week in a mastermind and they talked about ways to just elevate their overall experience for people. And with the customer service that your employees have and show time in and time out, it's like under promising and over delivering every single time, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like we really have like one opportunity almost every time. Like even a repeat client, you can still screw that up.
You could.
And I feel like every job, and I will say to Alex's, like a testament to Alex is like he, you know, as a team, we've built it out, but he's really accountable to make sure that our ops managers and then all the people in the field go through this training program. But we've got this 6-week training program where it's like, it's almost like day by day, not hour by hour, because it's unpredictable the day, but like almost every day is road mapped where you're just like checkpointing everything that they need to learn with the idea that within 6 weeks, they can ideally operate independently without having to, you know, ask our ops manager or production manager like a question every like hour because they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And I think that sort of service training, like just the training plan in general, that I think is then customer service becomes a byproduct of that almost, rather than just hiring experienced people that are friendly in the interview and you just hope that it all works out. I feel like if you have a process for everything that's trainable, then the experience and the expectation of the service becomes more like clockwork rather than just like ideally this works out every job.
Yeah, you're gonna know what you need to do as an employee for you guys, right? That standard operating procedure.
Yeah. SOPs. We love our SOPs.
Yeah. How long did it take you guys to build that up? Like, was that in year 1, year 2, year 5? Like, how did that go? Is it always evolving, I'm sure?
It's been evolving so much. In fact, actually, I remember my first mentor told us about SOPs and I had no idea what they were. And he's like, just go write an operations manual. Yeah. We were, 90 days into business. And so I still have pictures on Instagram from 2012 of me writing this manual at like 2:00 in the morning because you're not going to do it in the day. We had to haul junk at the time. And so, I remember just like writing this manual out. I still have it in my office. Just for fun. We should frame it. Yeah. But like that was V1 and then V2 was it changed everything. And then when we introduced the pay by weight trucks, like that kind of almost doesn't throw the ops manual out the door, but there's just an evolution of new systems and procedures that are required.
Definitely a different procedure once you're working with those.
Yeah. Because they're a lot more elaborate. They're not just like sort of point A to point B trucks. There's actual like, technology built into them and making sure people know how to use like the new payment terminals that we're getting. And so there's always something new happening, including the software, like the CRM that we're using. That's a whole thing in itself. It's always evolving.
So you have 50 people that you employ now. So how many people are out on the road? How many people are just working on the booking? Like I'm sure scheduling is a massive part of your business. Like I see, what Brandon Smith does in his role as a general contractor and seeing his timelines, getting a plumber in this day, an electrician, drywaller, painter, finisher, woodworking, countertops, all that stuff. And like it is a wild systematic process. So like, how is that for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky because some jobs take 30 minutes. Some jobs, we booked a job that's 18 months the other day. And so like, that in itself, I think that was a huge, I think that was a Microsoft renovation in downtown Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And so, that's a 4-story commercial building that's, I don't know, probably 100,000 square feet. Yeah. And so that requires like an insane amount of budgeting and like, you know, understanding like the purchase orders and the communication to the project managers and estimators. Like at that point, we're essentially a trade.
How do you estimate that if you guys are working off of price per weight scale?
That's a good question. A lot of drawings, right? So there's sort of assumptions that are made on a certain amount of waste per material.
Yeah.
Financially, like sometimes 2% is a good thing to go off of for waste management for big construction sites.
Okay.
So if it's a $100,000 build, a couple $1,000s. If it's, you know, $100 million, then the number goes up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we've got different like benchmarks. AI has been helping a lot right now because it can help read the weight of photos. Like if we took a photo of this room, it can pretty accurately estimate what this table weighs if we mention that it's like solid oak or something like that.
Dude, that's a game changer. I had never thought about that.
Yeah, it's been quite helpful.
Yeah.
Experience has been a big one, obviously, like just having done a lot of construction projects. So the people that are actively working on them, you do your first one, it doesn't go well, but you do 100 of them and you start to, you know, get more familiar with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the schedule is, I wouldn't say a lot. I would say a small percentage of the schedule is like pre-booked on a recurring basis.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, we'll do like an estate clear out and that requires 3 trucks with 6 people over 4 days. And so it's like, it's more compressed to get the job done quickly.
Right.
But yeah, it's a juggling act. Like, and it's like almost like a symphony between the finance team, the sales team, and the operations team to like work together to make sure that jobs are being done on budget. They're being produced on time and within, you know, the service scope that we've set up. Yeah. And then the sales side, like we're not the only junk removal company. There's 200 just in Vancouver alone.
Yeah. So when
we got to be able to close.
Yeah. When you're getting these big jobs, are you going in and coming up with like a project idea and pitching them? Like, are you going up against other big companies and then getting that contract, or what's that usually like?
Oftentimes, yeah. Like even on like a $500 job, we might be competing with 3 different companies.
So like, how do you guys make money? It's such an interesting thing. People say that a lot of these trades are overpaid, but so many times they're coming to your house. Who knows how long it takes to drive? They're coming and they're like checking out your systems. Like, let's say my home, for example, I'm getting my fireplaces serviced, gonna get a new hot water tank installed, my heat pump serviced, and I want a quote. Like, those people are coming to your house and definitely spending from the scheduling to the time they get back to the office and then coming up with a quote. Like, it could be 2 to 3 hours of work and they're not technically getting paid for that.
Yeah.
So
it's a good question. So, I mean, every trade is different. Like a general contractor might get 15% gross profit, but then on, you know, they might do 10 million in revenue and pull in 1.5 in gross profit. But then at 15%, they have a much leaner overhead model.
Yeah.
Electricians are maybe 40 to 50%, right? A lot of that is the labor because electricians are, you know, command a higher income because it's a skilled trade.
Absolutely.
But they might not have as much overhead as like, say the trucks and the junk trucks and all that are a lot more than like a pickup truck that you need to use as an electrician.
Yeah. How much is one of those trucks? Are you okay sharing that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if we were to build them brand new today, they're probably like $130,000.
Okay.
So we almost like treat each truck like it's almost like if you are in on the subway model, like you can't really make money on one subway.
Yeah.
You need like 10 subways and then you have like a regional manager that oversees the 10 subways, and then they have maybe a store manager and a couple employees. So it's the same with us. Like we can't, at our scale, if we just ran 1 or 2 trucks, like I'd have to let go of essentially our entire staff, get rid of our office, slash our marketing budget in half. And so junk removal is a higher gross margin model, but then there's a lot of like trucks and marketing and office space and like
insurance, security,
everything, right? Vehicle insurance, liability insurance, budget for when we make mistakes and cause a little bit of damage and we got to own it and fix it for the customer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think oftentimes a lot of people look at junk removal as like, oh, you just need a couple people and you're driving it to the dump. Like I should just do that myself. And it's like, yeah, but then you have to do it yourself. And so it's like, it's not for everyone, but our target market isn't like a 25-year-old that has a pickup truck and they're renting their apartment and they don't want to spend $500 because they don't value their time.
Yeah.
It's the opposite, actually. It's usually, people in their mid 30s, as high as, our parents' age in the 70s and even older. And it's for people that don't want to do it. They don't have the resources to do it, and they value their time.
Yeah. And if somebody's just grabbing their pickup truck and offering these services and doing it off of, I don't know if Craigslist is still a thing for services, they don't have the proper insurance.
Yeah.
So what happens to that, entrepreneur that's offering these services and then a big mistake happens? Like, you could easily damage somebody's personal property when you're hauling out heavy items.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's something a lot of people don't think about, is the insurance aspect of things.
That's exactly it. And that's where, like, on the residential side, like, the right marketing is important. Like, we can go on Facebook Marketplace and like pepper that all day, or we can go on like the local groups and just say like cheap junk removal. But I find when we're doing like investing like Google ads and SEO and the web development and the brand, that's going to pull more of the clients that we're after, that are like actively searching for junk removal rather than trying to just grab everybody. And then on the commercial side, we can go after general contractors that have like a 3.2 star review and probably don't carry the right insurance and all that. But if that's how they treat their clients, then that's how they're going to treat us.
Yeah.
And so when we're doing like outreach to commercial accounts, we usually just start with the Google Maps or Google My Business, because if they have anything above a 4.5 star review, chances are that's how they're going to treat their trades as well.
Yeah, and that's where you guys have been in your career. Like, I'm sure you have 1 million Google reviews by now. That's been one thing that's actually helped my business, is getting clients to go and leave Google reviews. It's super important. Like, anytime that I'm going to a small business, let's say I'm in Kelowna checking out a cafe I've never been to. It's a small mom and pop shop. They're an entrepreneur. Like, I always want to help out those local people by leaving a good review, doing a photo. When Four Winds opened up, I was in there, I think on day 2, I did a little video. Like, it's beautiful in there, right? So like, I want to help promote local businesses, left them a Google review, and they got back to me and they're like, let us know when you're coming back again. We got a little something for you. So it's a really cool platform. Some people hate Google reviews because I know there's some issues with realtors that sometimes they just won't publish their page for some reason. But like, think about it, even if you're overseas, like let's say you're in Europe and you're looking for the best cafe, the best place to go grab a steak. Like, what are you looking at first? I'm looking at Google reviews unless a friend of mine's already traveled there and they have a recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember reading that a long time ago, that there's essentially either you're being referred, and then it's kind of a no-brainer. It's almost like a layup. That's a no-brainer close. Like, you're being referred, someone had a good experience, someone else is actively looking for that same service, they refer you, like it's pretty much a close. But then it's like the majority of people don't have that connection to get that referral. And so that's where, like you said, Google reviews, like having a good business profile, like even active social media, you don't need 1 million followers.
No.
You just need a somewhat active profile that's sharing your story online, knowing that a lot of companies will go and fact check your social media just to see like who you are and what you're about outside of these sort of reviews.
Yeah.
And I just find if your marketing is sort of like, if you have that full package, eventually people are going to go and check it all out, even if you never know. Like, I know when we close a new client, one of the most important questions we ask is, how did you hear about us?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we update our CRM to represent it. And then we can track all the marketing and reporting around those specific campaigns that we're running.
Yeah. See what's working well.
But you're not asking like, oh, okay, you clicked our Google ad. Great. Thank you. I'm not going to our sales team won't spend another 15 minutes being like, well, did you also see our trucks on the road?
Yeah.
Did you check the reviews online? Did you go on our Instagram account? Like, what did you like about the Instagram account? Like, you really only ever get the original lead source. But I do feel like the whole package, while they might not get credit for it, it's just, you're just like positioning the brand in a good light. Yeah.
Everything works, right? And you got to try different streams for different marketing approaches. Like, I'm a part of the Tsawwassen Living magazine that a past client and a friend of mine, Sydney Socias, is manning. And I've gotten one deal directly from it. And I know that other people are still seeing the magazine. So it's a bit about brand awareness, right? They might say that oh, I saw your sign and I heard your name from so-and-so, but then they've also seen me on the back cover of that magazine. So it all helps and it all works in some weird way. But I'm the similar way. Anytime I have a new lead come in, they're contacting me to come do a market evaluation on their home. Like, okay, great. Let's set that up. Go through my process. Last thing I ask them, where did you hear from me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so important because if you know the return on the marketing that you're doing, then you know where to push that. You know where to push your pretty finite marketing dollars. Like, we're not Apple here. We can't just get like billboards in every city across the world and trust that it's just a brand awareness play. And so, you know, they always say like 50% of your marketing works. It's just which one. Mm-hmm. And so then I find as long as you understand where the original lead source comes from on new clients coming in or even repeat, then it allows you to know where to pour more marketing resources.
Yeah, focus in on that. So with 505 Junk now, where are you? Like, what is your role in that today? And then how are things transitioning into Bolt in your coaching program?
Yeah, so I would say like my role is heavily involved in working with the leadership team. Mm-hmm. So with Scott's the president of 505 Junk. He oversees like our the financial side. He works with our HR manager, BB. He works directly with Alex as well. Mm-hmm. Scott, Alex, and I still have our like monthly sort of partnership meetings as well, where we kind of go through things. Our director of marketing reports directly to me. So I'm quite involved in the marketing side of 505 Junk, not on the actual execution, but just sort of helping with like strategy and running numbers and making sure we're trying to, you know, get things right the first time as often as possible.
Well, yeah, if you went to Quallen for marketing back in the day, obviously that's something you're passionate and excited about. So that makes sense that you're still kind of a one-on-one person with that.
Yeah.
You want to keep the brand the same. Like, you guys have built a great brand. I'm sure you're holding on to keeping it that way.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I've always looked at it, we're more of like a marketing and customer service agency more so than like a junk removal business.
Yeah.
Because like that's how junk removal is just like sort of the byproduct of good customer service and good marketing. Yeah. Because if you're not getting leads and your service sucks, like it doesn't matter what you do, you won't have a business.
For sure.
So that's been a big part of it. Still involved in some of the financial management side of things. Mm-hmm. Just, you know, obviously profit is oxygen. And so I always say you don't need all the profit in the world, but you definitely need some to pay the bills and reward the shareholders, if you will. And so that's been a big part. And then Bolt, we launched last year. And Bolt was a long time coming. It's only a year and a half old now. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like we've been supporting other entrepreneurs over the years, whether usually in home service, but specifically in junk removal. Mm-hmm. And it just got to a point where we can only take so many phone calls before we're a nonprofit coaching company that is pulling away from quite a bit of our time. And so the business was built just to help other people in the industry. Yeah.
So it was kind of a natural evolution of 505 into Bolt now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And like I was speaking at Junk Expo recently, and I was on stage thinking like, I owe so much to this industry because it helped me. It's given so much to us. Yeah. Right. And so it's like, you know, we try and give back to our clients as much as we can and make sure we're running a good service and take care of the employees. They've given so much to us that we've got to give back to them. But there was this missing link, I think, with like the other entrepreneurs in the industry. And it almost felt like a shame if we were able to build a business of this size, which, you know, there's really only non-franchise independent junk removal companies. There's probably like half a dozen that are bigger than us in North America.
Wow. Kudos to you guys, man. That's huge.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. And it just kind of, all of the issues that these entrepreneurs are experiencing at that like 500,000 to 3 million level, like we've already been through it. Mm-hmm. And so we thought that the value that we could give to them was not only the coaching and the resources and SOPs and systems and all that, but just like a community where we can help them with the decision making so that, you know, when they are trying to figure out, well, when do I know if I need a third truck? Mm-hmm. Or when do I hire my first operations manager? Or how much should I pay myself as a business owner? What's too much and too little? Yeah. Like those are big questions. And
they're huge questions.
It's so easy to get them wrong.
Yeah, and you don't want to spend too much time thinking about that because somebody could be mulling over going from 1 truck to 2 truck to 3 trucks, and they could be thinking about this for months on end while still doing the day-to-day in the business. And even if they could spend an entire day locked down, really trying to go over everything, but it's still nice to have somebody else outside the picture that's already been there, done that. They can really streamline and help evolve their business in such a quicker way than if it's just yourself doing it and coming up with all these problems, finding solutions for them. And we can only ever in life, like, we need to share what we know. We shouldn't leave this earth taking all of our knowledge and not sharing it with other people, right? But it does take time. Like, you guys are an established business now. You've had countless hurdles. I'm sure we haven't dove into it all. But then for you to take your experience, be able to share that to other people, that's another great feeling. And I love what you're doing, man. I love everything that you're doing. I think that you've expanded both very quickly. Like, you've had a couple events in Vancouver recently. You did the expo, you're on stage. It sounds like you're doing all the right things. And so who was your mentor to then get you into this kind of coaching business space?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, early days, it was a guy named Mike Drever. He sold my parents, when my dad got laid off at like 55 or something like that, he sold my parents they bought the 7th franchise off of him for Cruise Ship Centers, which is like brick and mortar cruise travel agency.
Okay.
He ended up selling Cruise Ship Centers to Expedia for about $35 million. Oh,
wow.
And so he was someone that I immediately called in like week 3 and was just like, hey, my parents bought a franchise off you. Will you mentor me? No, I'm just kidding. But I kind of just met, he loves my parents. They were some of the hardest working people in his system.
Nice.
They did really well with it. And, and he was so giving of his time. And so that opened up the idea of coaching to me in general, more so on the receiving end. And so I've had a business coach really my entire journey. I mean, they're paid coaching now because, not everyone's like Mike and is sitting on that much money and doesn't need to charge a 22-year-old, to get going. But most recently it's been Dan Martell. Mm-hmm. And so he built SaaS Academy, which is really the largest software coaching business for software entrepreneurs in the world. Okay. And so I really liked the model that he had built. Yeah. I had been a part of Breakthrough Academy for about 6 years. Yeah. They do sort of home service entrepreneurship.
Is that where you first kind of met Brandon and built your friendship there?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of my best friends are from Breakthrough Academy.
Yeah.
They all came down to Australia for our wedding. And
oh, really?
Like a lot of us bought houses. Like Brandon bought a house down here. Like you did. I bought in Boundary Bay as well. And so it's it's just a community of entrepreneurs. And BTA was like a big facilitator of that. Mm-hmm. They never really had many junk removal companies in it. In fact, I think forever we were the only one. And then there was one other person and he would call me all the time for advice. Yeah. And so, I did ask, I had to throw it up there. I was like, look, I'm going to start Bolt. I don't want to be disrespectful, but, to be fair, it is a niche and not a niche that it appears in the last 7 years you guys have been going after. And so, I wanted to be respectful of that, knowing that a lot of my friends, not just BTA, but a lot of them are in business coaching. And while nobody invented business coaching, that's probably been going around since as long as business has
forever.
been in place forever. Right. Yeah. I like to be just open and transparent about that stuff. And so, eventually we just, got started. I remember my first question to Dan was, hey, Dan, I'm thinking about getting into coaching. What do you think? And he's like, who cares what I think? And he's like, why are you saying I think I want to get into coaching? Yeah. And so he made me reframe it to, I'm going to get into coaching. I don't know how to get started. Yeah. And so then my next question to him was, what's the MVP, trying to be clever, software language, minimum viable product. And,
okay. Yeah.
And he's like, MVP? Do you have a brain? Yes. Do you want to share that wisdom? Yes. Yeah. Do you have a Zoom channel? Yes. Yeah. Then start.
You gotta start.
Because the value isn't in the fancy website or the systems or anything like that. It's just the experience and the desire to help other people.
Yeah. Which I think you really stem from. Your business is all about helping other people. Of course, it came from a necessity to, provide for yourself, provide for your family, have a steady job, paycheck, things like that. But then I think how I feel from you in our couple conversations, it's all about taking care of other people, because that's what truly lights you up and inspires you.
It does. Yeah. I'm glad you picked that up, because I've done so many of these values tests and purpose tests and, personality style indicators, and like everything landed on the same thing. The thing that lights me up the most is unlocking people's potential.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't know. It kept going back to it. And when I first heard it, I'm like, that just sounds kind of corny. But then I keep going back to it. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? One of my favorite things is when I get a sense that someone's stuck and being able to like help push them across the finish line.
Yeah.
Like I don't do the startup entrepreneur thing as much. Like, you know, I was speaking at a high school the other day and there's a lot of kids there. And so speaking about entrepreneurship from that sense really lights me up.
Yeah.
But like not as big on like working with like brand new entrepreneurs. I'm more like, you know, like help people scale.
They're at a wall and you need to help them break through it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's actually, thinking about it now, that might be why I wanted to get into personal training when I was younger. Like I saw some results by being steady in the gym for a few years, and then getting my personal training license. I was like, I can help other people get results, and that's going to make them feel better. And then of course it's going to make me feel better too.
Yeah. And then you have your like testimonials and your case studies, and like that sort of has that compound effect. But yeah, I remember the first person in Bolt, like it's a group coaching platform. We do one-on-one with, you know, maybe 4 or 5 people at a time.
Okay.
But when we first started, the first person, I was like, it's group coaching, but it's just you and me.
Right. Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, you got to start somewhere.
There's going to be more people down the road.
Yeah.
And it actually took us a long time to get our second member, because I probably did spend too much time on the systems and the creation, because as a second-time entrepreneur, you know, that's what I knew, is build a business to scale, not just to, you know, bring in 5 members and call it a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where he was like, what about this group thing? Like, I love working the one-on-one stuff, but like, it would be great to get some more people coming in.
Yeah.
And so that was a big motivator for me, knowing that like, as more people joined, that they're going to have, and we try and do non-competing markets as much as possible.
Yeah, for
if it's
sure.
a big market, it changes things. But that's been one of the biggest blessings, is just seeing that, you know, a member in like Oahu, Hawaii can connect with someone in Palm Springs or somewhere in California, and they get to just connect on like similar size business, same industry, same issues, same problems, same wins.
I can really appreciate that. Some of the best relationships I have in real estate are people in other markets, right? Like we're in such a small niche market in Ladner and Tsawwassen. Like if I'm going to my top few competitors and asking for them and help or advice, like I don't blame them if they don't really want to help me out, but I can reach out to a friend in Texas or a friend in California or somebody in Alberta, Saskatchewan, talk about what's working for them, what's not working for them. And it's an easy collaborative community that way, because there's no competition between us at all. And most of those relationships have turned out into a referral at some point too. So it's such a win-win situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you can just be, I always say like, I have my friends that aren't in business and I love them, you know, they're probably high school friends or people I've met along the way. And that there's sort of like time and space for that group. Mm-hmm. And then there's also my friends who are also friends, but they also are entrepreneurs, and like both amazing groups, both amazing people. But there's something about being friends with other entrepreneurs.
100%.
It's just unlimited conversation.
100%, man. Literally the conversation I had 2 days ago with a mortgage broker, we were talking about that too. It's like, I always call him young and he hates me for it. He's 26, turning 27. And he's really noticed since graduating high school to now, how the people that he's gravitated towards are the people that are also in business. Like one of his friends owns a car detailing shop, and they're just talking every single day. They're willing to really share everything in the business, the good, the bad. They're both doing very well, so they share finances as well. And I think it's hard, if somebody's making $25 an hour at a job they don't like, to really connect with them when you're, a flourishing entrepreneur businessman.
Yeah, and that's it. And like it's you're always connecting with other people that are sort of experiencing the same things, and even like the downside to business, like that to me is the biggest thing. Is huge. Like some of my friends I've had 2 friends that are really close to me that have had to go through a bankruptcy in the last few years.
Yeah.
And like that, at that point you are actually much better off having the $25 an hour job, because you don't have this long history that's going to be attached with you. But one of them bounced back literally like 12 months later and built a $3 million painting company.
What?
Yeah, because you don't, in his case, it was,
love to hear that.
it was a rough partnership. The partner was doing really bad things. Like
Okay.
one of their clients, they did a $400,000 job for a client and they just decided not to pay him. So it's like, how do you bounce back from just, I don't know about you, but if I got $400K deleted from my bank account, like that's not going to be great.
Dude, I'm done. I'm looking for a job with 505 tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
But his skill sets never vanished.
Yes,
and that
of
you
course.
can't take away. You can't take
that
away experience.
Yeah.
And so, I think it was 2 years to get to 3, but like, yeah, first year they bounced back. They did 1.5. He doesn't have business partners anymore. So he has more sort of autonomy and like independence in his business and doesn't have to sort of like rely on this person who was like not a great business partner whatsoever. I've been blessed with great partners, but that's not everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely not the story for everybody. That's so wild. Like, I think going through that struggle must have been really hard. I wonder how he kind of kept it together through all that. Like, he probably never wavered in his confidence and his own ability to get things done, but still going through that type of a hardship, like that is wild, man. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. Well, and that's where the friendships come into play.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, like I get the goosebumps just thinking about it, but like literally, I think a few of our friends were like, just come do consulting work for us.
Yeah.
Like he's such an asset to have on your team. And I think he took up one of them. He was helping like build a painting division within a construction company for another friend in our group. And so he took him on and paid him a good salary and got him back on his feet. And then, now he's just started his new business and he's crushing it again.
Yeah. And a lot of entrepreneurs have gone bankrupt. Like, it's not a story that's not uncommon. Lots of people have started in one venture, done really well, hit a literal brick wall, lost everything, and then their next business has been even exponentially more successful than the previous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it happens. I mean, oftentimes it's out of your control. Yeah. I mean, if we had a client that decided not to pay us $400,000 today, I don't think that would bankrupt 505 Junk, but holy smokes, that I can't even imagine. Yeah. Like that's a pretty big issue.
It's a huge issue. It's a mental issue. It's a hurdle for, your payroll. It stops the flow of business. Like it really puts things to a halt, and then it kind of makes you a little bit of a skeptic to take on new clients at the same time. You're like, whoa, we really got to vet this next person because we need to make sure that we're getting paid for the work that we're doing for people.
Yeah. Especially on the commercial side.
Yeah.
But you take your learning lessons, and now they're collecting big deposits up front for the work. And if clients don't want to do that, then it really makes you wonder why.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's, I think that those learning lessons can really help structure the next business.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty hard to take entrepreneurship away from somebody. You could take a business away from somebody, but you're not going to take entrepreneurship away. Like most of the people I know will always bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah. What did Brandon say on the podcast? He said, the change happens at the transaction, or something in the lines that where you need the commitment of a financial aspect. Like, let's say for a coaching program, if you start paying a coach, they need $2,000 up front, then it's going to be $1,000 a month after that. The transition starts at the transaction or something like that. I don't know, but it was great. And it really kind of stuck with me because people do need a bit of a financial commitment to be serious about anything. So I think getting deposits up front for some of those big contracts are definitely a good idea.
Yeah. And I mean, deposits, not to get too deep into it, but it's essentially, if you're in construction, then the home builder or the actual client of the construction company, whether it's commercial or residential, they have the capital.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't do it.
For sure.
So then it's just a question of how early do you release the capital to get moving with the trades?
Yeah.
And so, for some industries like junk removal, it's just not common to get a deposit. And so that's one thing that we're starting to explore a bit more now as we scale, like having access to like good cash flow, like a positive cash conversion cycle, like it's game changing.
Yeah.
I remember a story, I think it was Dell, like back years ago, I don't know, back in the 80s or something like that. They used to build all the computers and then they would distribute it to the retail stores where they would sit on the shelves and then they would sell them and then they would get paid.
Wow.
And then they switched it to, we'll just ship computers directly
To
to
consumers.
the buyers, to
Yeah.
consumers, and we'll start building them once they pay us.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went from like a 60-day cash conversion cycle, like negative, like, delayed 60 days,
Yeah.
to getting paid 2 weeks prior to the build.
That's beautiful.
And now they obviously had to improve their operations and production to make sure builds are quicker so the clients aren't waiting too long.
Yep.
But like that's a 70-day cycle per unit that's been changed. Like that's massive.
That is massive. That's so funny. I remember, my parents have been realtors forever, and they need to upgrade their old computer. And they're like, Blake, you're a nerd. You're young and into this space. Build us on computer on Dell. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You're picking out the RAM, the hard drive, a monitor with it, and then you're paying up front and then getting it shipped directly to you. I thought it was incredible what they used to do.
It was Dell then, yeah. So then it's interesting because, and everything you're saying is true. And also it's good of them to sort of like market that competitive advantage, knowing that you got to kind of customize it.
You do.
Like that's
I
cool.
thought that was the coolest thing
cool.
about it, because you could go to London Drugs back in the day and pick out from a few different computers in there, but being able to say it's like, oh no, we need a larger hard drive. We're gonna have a ton of storage on here. We only have so many floppy disks that we can use. So I thought it was just such a cool experience for an end consumer to do that, and it sounds like that probably completely restructured their entire business. And they're taking out less debt. They don't have these big bills to pay that are stacking up over time. I can't believe they succeeded in the way they used to run things.
Yeah. Well, and that's for a lot of trades and commercial companies, like it's actually like eerily similar.
It is.
You go produce a job, say over 2 weeks. Now you've got the labor, disposal, fuel, everything over the next 2 weeks, or whatever you're in, plumbing, electrical, doesn't make a difference.
Yep.
And then you send your invoice on that next Monday, and then they put you on like a 45-day payables.
Yeah.
And so we're back to 60 days again.
You really are. That's like everything involved with real estate too. Like the stager I use, the cleaning company I use, a painter, a handyman, all those services. We do the work. Here's the bill, maybe the same day, maybe a week later. And then I hope you pay it sometime. I don't know when you're going to pay.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild. So with Bolt, how are you with your coaching? Like how many people are involved in that now? Where do you see it growing over the next couple of years?
We've got, I think, about 35 markets right now.
Oh, wow. Holy
so
smokes, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. It's growing quite a bit. And it's primarily in the United States. We've got a few companies in Canada.
Yep.
And then actually we've got 2 or 3 in Australia as well.
Nice.
And I'm loving it. It's honestly, it's so fun. Like we're seeing the real results. The first person that came on literally doubled their revenue in the first year. And like, that was all them, obviously, but it's like, I remember getting phone calls like, hey, we're at capacity. Like, should I go get some U-Haul vans to, they had a huge storm in their market, a hurricane actually. And so there's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And so naturally, for that 2-3 month period, they were just booming busy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember he had his 2 trucks, they were slammed. That was awesome. Anytime your capacity is maximized, that's where you're going to be the most profitable.
For sure.
But he was kind of like, well, should I just get cube vans or rental vans or anything and just like try and find some people that are maybe out of work because of the hurricanes and just like, go try and pick up as much waste as humanly possible.
Yeah. How did you steer that?
100%. I was like, go all in because like, you literally just need someone that can drive the truck. You can train them for the first few days, but like, this isn't a time of perfection. No. This is a time of like scrappiness.
Yeah.
Like we need to just like hit volume,
yeah.
Find whoever you can. Expectations for clients are going to be low because every other company is going to be completely booked out.
For sure.
Because the demand is far exceeding the actual supply.
Yeah.
But there's all these U-Hauls sitting in a shop. So go rent all of them.
Yeah.
And then get to work. And he crushed it.
That's so cool. Cause then, you're not in a fixed operating expense for a very long time, right? He's just renting these trucks in the interim because his business is probably stabilized out after that as well, right? Like it's a very short time frame where it's going to be that busy and needing that many people. And yeah, I think the customer service aspect of it isn't even really a big part of the issue. It's not like you have to have 10-star service. You can give 7 and just get the job done because all people care about is cleaning that junk out of there and getting back to their normal lives quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And literally the only change was that rather than having an on-brand vehicle show up, it was a U-Haul.
U-Haul.
But if you just train the driver to be like, look, I'm sorry, I know this looks weird, but the truth is all the trucks are busy. And so we're just doing everything we can to help. Then no one's going to care about that.
Yeah. So 35 markets in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Did you expect it to grow this quickly?
I mean, it was in the vision, but I'm probably too optimistic sometimes. And so I actually had a bigger number, but it's, honestly, in hindsight, which I need to be better at, is like just stopping and reflecting and appreciating and like take the foot off the gas for even like a week. It's honestly, it's amazing. Like I wouldn't have, if you asked me 3 years ago if we could pull this off, absolutely not. When we modeled the whole business model out and was up till 2:00 in the morning on ChatGPT, like researching how to build this thing, the confidence went up and we felt somewhat sure of ourselves to be able to make a good push, but
you never know until you really try.
Yeah. I mean, I've had so many objections. Like I didn't even know that there were so many other coaches in this industry. Like 505 Junk, we were focused so much on making a good operating business that I didn't look at what anyone was doing in the States or if there's other like coaching programs out there. And so it's funny. One of the biggest objections early on that we had was like, oh, another guru. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Now we do need a strong social media presence. Now we do need a website. Now we do actually have to probably take out the Canadian humble side of us outside, like put that aside for a minute and do this more sort of like, hey, look what we've built marketing strategy, because otherwise no one's going to trust us.
I think sometimes the people that are closest to us too don't really see our vision, and they're like family, especially, I think, are really close friends. They're afraid of us failing more than they're excited for us to succeed. So I think that's natural that you could get some feedback from other people like, oh, another coach in another industry. Sure. Like the online coaching industry has exploded in the last, 5-10 years, especially with the use of social media. So I'm not surprised that you got a bit of that pushback and feedback. And, similar for me, like people are like, why are you starting a podcast? Who's going to listen to that? And I'm like, honestly, I don't really care if 2 people or 100 people listen to this. Like I'm doing it for me to have conversations with other awesome people like you. So this is a very selfish kind of endeavor for me, but I'm loving every minute. And there's always going to be haters. Like I got a few hilarious comments on YouTube for one of my videos. Like, listen to these idiots yap. And it's just like, hope you have a great day, bro. Sorry you're not happy about this.
They clicked the link to listen.
I know. It's like, did you listen to the whole episode? Like, thanks.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be haters and naysayers and people that don't believe in your vision, but we know deep down inside that we at least got to give it a try. And like, it's so fun when we do see the success in it. Like I've got 4,500 views on my podcast page on YouTube already. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I thought that could be a couple years. So like, that's super cool, but it's still not why I'm doing this. Like what other opportunity do me and you have to sit down and talk? Like we've been saying for a couple years, let's have a beer. Same with Brandon. It's like,
that's a very good point.
Let's hang out and have a beer and have a fire, something like that. It's like life gets in the way. Now we're like putting it in our calendars. Let's sit down, have our conversation. Like I'm loving every minute of this.
Yeah. And I mean, you could say the same thing about real estate agents. Like you have done everything you need to do. Yeah. Like we said, 250 junk removal companies, probably 14,000 real estate agents in our market.
That's dead on. We're like 14,500 in the Lower Mainland. Then there's 7,000 in the Fraser Valley. Like there's so many people in any space that you go into.
Yeah. So then who's Blake to be a real estate agent? Who's Barry to be a junk removal entrepreneur? Yeah. Well, my answer is who cares?
Yeah. We're all people.
You're just choosing to go all in on something. Like that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's all we all ever need to do is choose one thing and go all in.
Everybody needs to find something that they're super passionate about and go after it. I think too many people are afraid in our day and age that they won't take the risk to go and maybe seek that reward. Like if you are interested in what's something funny these days, Labubu's. I don't know if you've ever heard of those little creature things. I don't even know what they are. It's kind of like a stuffed animal for, I think they're super expensive, something like that. It's like the Gucci of stuffed animals, I guess. I really know nothing.
Yeah.
Them. But like people have YouTube channels about them. They're getting hundreds of thousands of views, if not 1 million views. They're reselling these things. Like in the internet age, we can find people in our tribe all over the world. So if you're passionate about something, just go after it and get into it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a vision for something and what was I saying about entrepreneurship to these high school students? There's 3 elements to it. There's like, there needs to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So problem A can be people need to sell their home.
Yeah.
People need to get rid of junk. Junk removal entrepreneurs don't know what they're doing and they need a coach. Like whatever the problem is, find the problem. Next is the solution, right? That's the no-brainer side. And it's like, that's literally the development of the business. Not easy to do, but if we do oversimplify it, that's essentially it. We need to set up a corporation, $1,500. We need to establish how we generate revenue. That's free. Yeah. We need to use ChatGPT to build a business plan. That's free. Use ChatGPT to build a marketing plan. That's free. Build a budget and do our best to hit it.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's how we start. And then there's this third piece, which no one else matters at this point. All the haters that you talk about on like YouTube comments and all that kind of crap, like none of that matters. Yeah. Even the parental support, that doesn't matter. Like my parents have been very supportive, but I try not to take that for granted.
Yeah.
Friend support, nothing like that matters. Only one thing matters is that you believe that you can execute on the solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you believe in yourself to execute on the solution, then frankly, who gives a shit about everyone else?
Yeah, you got to keep laser focused. You can listen to other people, but always remind why you started and go after that vision. The best businesses out there are based off of a problem and coming out with a solution for it. Like I think back of Shark Tank and Scrub Daddy. Like what the heck? This guy's in his kitchen. He's not having fun scrubbing his dishes. And now I don't even know what that company's worth. Like it's in Dollarama. It's in Canadian Tire. It's in Rona. Like that guy has built a multi-million-dollar business off of creating a solution to a very simple problem. And he's just blown up with it. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the solution doesn't even have to be that different.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the pay by weight thing in 505 Junk, but like, unless we're like world-class marketers, who's to say that that's better than volume?
Right.
It's just different.
Yeah.
I would say 99% of the business's success is just in the execution of it.
Yeah.
And like going back to, if you're a small business, like you don't need everybody to believe in you. You need your clients to, because they see value in the service.
Yeah.
And you need the small amount of people that you need to hire to also believe in it.
Yeah.
Frankly, that's probably about it.
That's literally it. Yeah. You got to trust in yourself, get some good people working with you that have the same beliefs and value that you have. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things that you've built in 505 Junk. You, Scott, Alex, you guys are leaders and you're always leading by example. And when somebody new joins 505, they can see, oh, Alex Elsey was the first employee. He's built his way up to the current role he's in now. And you're hoping to get new employees that also have a vision for their career. You don't want to hire somebody that wants to work for you guys for a summer and then go back to school. You want long-term employees and showing them the opportunity for growth within that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's actually one of the things that we do like to ask is like, where do you see yourself in a few years? What are your goals? And Alex is a big believer of saying like, he doesn't care if someone's here for like a day or 10 years. Like he wants them to, okay, maybe a day is a bit short, but
yeah.
He wants them to leave like feeling like they've become a better person.
Beautiful.
Whether that's skill wise or personality or emotional intelligence, whatever it is. Yeah. Cause if you can pull that off, then chances are it's going to work long-term because everybody's coming and they're leveling up at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a result of that, like as long as you can match your employee development journey through like promotions and pay increases and all that kind of stuff, that's been a pretty simple formula just to follow. It's like build people up. There's an old Branson quote, something along the lines of train people so well that they can work anywhere, but treat them so well that they choose to stay.
Yeah.
And if
that's powerful.
Like, it's so powerful. Like that guy's known as like one of the best cultures, one of the best entrepreneurs, but also the best cultures in all of his companies.
Yeah.
And that's his simple philosophy. So my attitude towards that is like, why reinvent the wheel? Like he clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. Yeah. He's And he was one of Dan Martell's mentors.
I believe so. Yeah. Dan went down to, what's his island? Nectar Island, I believe.
Okay.
That's a funny story in itself. He bought Nectar Island for like $75,000 because the seller just wanted nothing to do with this island anymore. But Richard clearly had a vision to build this like sort of like compound retreat where he could bring in other entrepreneurs and share this with them.
Right.
So yeah, I think Dan went down there for a bit and learned from him. And that's why I like working with these coaches as well that are experienced, because they gained it from somewhere.
Yes.
And so, well, you know, we're probably not going to be flying down to Nectar Island to go meet up with Richard Branson anytime soon.
No.
Like working with someone that did, you still get the byproduct of that experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it just kind of keeps things within like close proximity.
Yeah. And back to your business, you know, getting people involved and seeing them, whether they want to work their way up the ladder or not. I think you're building these values in these people. And like, I'm sure you're happy if somebody wants to go out and start their own business venture, like that makes you super proud too.
Yeah. We've got lots. I mean, we've got someone that works with us, you know, half the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other half the year he's doing landscaping, window washing. And I remember he just came back a few weeks ago. And he came straight for my office and he was like, yeah, we doubled revenue this year. It's amazing.
Yes,
like, it was great. I love
it.
So yeah, no, I'm a big supporter of entrepreneurship. If we're a platform to help people start businesses, then good on them.
Yeah. Anytime somebody's looking for a job in the Tsawwassen Loop or Ladner landing pages, I'm always recommending getting started with you guys. I think it's a great way to learn about life, customer service, building a business, and being around other great people and having that culture. I think it's a really good experience. It's been a little bit over an hour, man. You want to wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. That was awesome. Hopefully it recorded properly this time. Barry Hartman, 505 Junk, and Bolt Accelerator. Appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks so much, Blake. Appreciate it.
Cheers.